واصلة؟ خلاص طيب. لا 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 اتس اوكي. اتس اوكي اتس اوكي. انا وهاني واحد ما في. كيف حالك معلك؟ شو اخبارك؟ علي الظاهري، الرئيس التنفيذي شركة تدوير. اهلا وسهلا فيك، يا مرحبا، فرصة سعيدة. يا مرحبا، كيف الحال؟ شو
go directly. All right. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, هاني، تفضل.
All right. Good morning, Your Excellency, esteemed delegates, ladies and gentlemen. So my name is Hani Tami. I'm the Managing Director for Roland Berger, Middle East, and also heading the topic of sustainability. I have the great pleasure today to discuss with you the recently announced Waste to Zero initiative, and for why are we re-announcing it today or discussing it today, especially after the mega endorsement of the UAE government. It is only fair to talk about it again in the UAE pavilion, and this time to give a lot of recognition also for the outstanding national effort to take this initiative to the global stage. But without a lot of introductions, today we have a special guest, Her Excellency Dr. Yasmin Fouad, Minister of Environment for Egypt. If we can invite you to stage to say a few notes about the whole initiative, about your experience in the sector, please, if we welcome you on stage.
Good morning, everyone. Is my voice well heard? Yep. Okay. It's my pleasure to be here among friends and colleagues and experts and participants in the UEE pavilion. Let me at the outset thank UEE and COP28 presidency for hosting the COP and for launching a number of important global initiatives towards meeting the climate targets and face together and collectively the adverse impact of climate change. During COP27, Egypt has launched an initiative that's called 50 by 2050. That initiative's aim to reduce 50% of the waste in Africa, because we were hosting the COP on behalf of the African continent. And the target of that, also the company Roland Berger was the one who was providing technical assistance to us. And the focal point is Dr. Nagwal Karawi, my colleague here, that has been investing so much effort on launching the initiative, on putting the governance structure, as well as having a number of countries joining that. The whole idea started that everyone has been talking within the climate context on energy and has been talking about how renewable energy can boost economies, provide investment, find job opportunities, and fight climate change. And other discussion went through the decarbonization part and the industrial sector. But none of the discussion focused on the waste, on the methane, and how the waste generate a big bulk of the greenhouse gases that causes the global warming, and how waste can be turned into an opportunity. A real challenge for countries, but an opportunity for resource efficiency, resource recovery, and a very good model for a circular economy. So it serves many of those issues. Egypt has embarked on that 50 by 2050 from its own experience. Egypt was a country that was suffering more than 26 million tons of municipal waste each year, annually. And they were scattered in the street. We wanted to make sure that we are able to deal with that. We've built an infrastructure, and we've started a new law that focuses on circular economy and focuses on the private sector investment. We launched our first feed-in tariff of waste to energy. We started to convert the informal sector into a formal sector and having them within the system with the medical and the social insurance. It was a very long journey, and still a journey we're all riding to that, with the follow-up and the supervision from His Excellency, the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. This is our story. We wanted to convert that story into something that is meaningful for the continent, something that would include the private sector, something that would fight climate change, something that would provide job opportunities and reduce or produce another kind of products that would come out from the recycling or the treatment of the municipal solid waste. From that perspective, we were so happy that the UAE, within the climate action agenda, has launched the Global Waste Initiative on the net zero. And what we have agreed upon as COP27 President and COP28 with Her Excellency Minister Mariam El-Meheri, Minister of Climate and Environment, that we would align the two initiatives together. We don't need to have two parallel tracks. We would have one track that would support the reduction of the waste, treatment of the generated waste, more circular economy, less methane, and more job opportunities for those who is working in the sector, and more investment from the private sector to be part of the collective climate responsibility. This is, in a snapshot, is our story that I wanted to share with you today, and I would like to thank all those who is working on the global initiative of the UAE, and together we will be able to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And it's great to see when global pledges come together. This is where we have the maximum potential impact that can be created on the global scene. And now I would like to invite Engineer Ali Al-Dahri, CEO and Managing Director of Tadweer, who is also at the origin behind the Waste to Zero Global Pledge.
Thank you, Hani, for Thank you, Hani, for a kind introduction. I think we will start with a short video on Waste to Zero, and then I will come back and share more details.
Through a zero-waste approach and correct handling, it can mitigate climate change, lower carbon footprints, and create jobs. We can stop waste being mishandled at the source. From collection to disposal, we're aiming to decarbonize waste through a world-first initiative reshaping global waste management. Because our sector shouldn't be responsible for up to 5% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. We're transforming systems, harnessing new technology, shifting mindsets to make waste valuable by ensuring everyone uses these precious resources the right way. Governments, businesses, and even you. So join us, and together we can build a circular economy for a sustainable future, taking waste to zero.
since 2022, when Tadweer was restructured under the ownership of ADQ, Abu Dhabi Holding Company, we have been on a mission to revolutionize the way waste is managed alongside municipalities, governments, the private sector, and the public. We are aware and deeply concerned that up to 5% of the global emissions emerge from the waste sector, a statistic that is under-addressed and represents a crucial gap that needs to be rectified by sustainability champions across the world. As the CEO of Tadweer, Abu Dhabi's own champion of sustainable waste, I am here today to introduce you a global first, Waste to Zero, an initiative that calls on sectors across the world to mobilize and advance waste decarbonization efforts. I strongly believe that what lies before us is an opportunity to turn waste into a resource. Waste to Zero is the brainchild of Tadweer and the UAE's Ministry of Climate Change and Environment, and supported by global consultancy Roland Berger. We're dedicated to driving global climate action by reducing the carbon emissions to driving of the waste management sector. This global endeavor is informed by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Agreement targets. And as I speak, we are already building collaborations across the world to make our goal a reality. But please allow me to hand over to Hani to fully unpack the ambitious initiative. Hani, over to you.
Thank you, Engineer Ali.
Thank you.
So, also mindful of the time, because I understood we are a bit short on that. So what is it really about? It's really about creating a framework that allows us to work proactively and to actually bring all the stakeholders on the right place, thinking around the right topics. Today, if you look into different countries, each of the countries has their own agenda. Each of the countries has their own environment, their own regulations, and they are looking at different kinds of challenges. But if we combine them all under one umbrella, under one framework, this is where we can create the maximum impact. So if you look at our pillars, we will focus first, so if we go maybe to the next one, we'll focus first on the cooperation. So we want to make sure that from the government sector, from all the public entities, from institutions, from NGOs, from the private sector, even from social categories, we want to bring everyone together on the same page. On the innovation side, this is where we are going to bring all the waste to X initiatives, right? So you have the waste to energy, but you also have the waste to hydrogen, you have the waste to graphene, you have so many initiatives coming in, and this is where innovation will have to play a role to achieve circularity. And then implementation will focus very much on regulation, will focus on financing, will focus on the human capability build-up, all the elements that will allow actual initiatives to pick up. Now, how the governance works, we do have a governance that brings together all those stakeholders, and we have created the different work streams in order to allow for every topic within the waste sector to get the right attention. So we talk about minimizing the waste generation. Here's where we'll talk a lot about the food waste. We're going to talk about the infrastructure and bringing in the missing assets to the world. We're going to talk about the technologies, and I mentioned some of them, the waste to X, and also decarbonization of operations. This is where we're going to go to look into all the steps of the value chain. We're not going to stop only at collection or only at recycling. We're going to go from the source all the way to the end of their life. And finally, enabling and monitoring. This is where the digital world will have to come in, because we cannot do all those activities without creating the right databases and creating finally the transparency that this sector requires. And with that, Engineer Ali, maybe we can have the last few words also with you.
Okay. But we want to ensure that today we're doing more than simply talking about change. We have already created a series of targets over the next few short years, and you, as our audience here at COP, will hold us accountable. By 2025, Waste to Zero is committed to delivering on 3 main milestones. Here at COP28, we are witnessing the announcement of our plan and the activation of the work streams. Then at COP29, we will present the first assessment of the sector's environmental footprint along with a plan, backed by our endorsers to drive down greenhouse gas emissions and outline a pathway to decarbonization. Then by COP30, we will introduce a pipeline of bankable decarbonized projects for investment in the waste management sector. And across these 3 milestones, as our partner network exponentially grow, we will be expanding our vision and introducing new strategies to continue our work over the next decade. Today, we are delighted to reveal the first list with more than 40 private endorsers. As you can see, this is a group of like-minded partners who believes in our mission. They are already contributing to the development of our initiative, and they have all agreed to our Waste to Zero declaration. Special thanks to the Ministry of Climate Change in United Arab Emirates, to Environmental Agency Abu Dhabi, and UN Habitat for their endorsement and support. In this highly dispersed, varied, and diverse sector, Waste to Zero wants to unite us all through a common goal. That's why we're issuing an open invitation to stakeholders across the sector. We invite you to join us in this crucial mission to change waste management into valuable resources and build on our central mission as the waste management sector to create a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable environment for all. Through a collective effort and shared commitment, we can make a lasting impact on the global waste management landscape. Governments, waste management operators, private companies, and you. Together, let's build a circular economy for a sustainable future, taking waste to zero. Thank you.
If I may ask for a group picture, please. Please, Your Excellency.